Hi everyone, this is Halma here from Ludwig's Roses, and today I'd like to share a couple of tricks with you about how you can actually rejuvenate roses growing in pots and do them a huge favor, because this pot of 3 My Grannies, you can very clearly see, has sunken by 7 centimeters. That means the soil, even though it is quite a rough soil, but as you dig you can see, look at that, no good, there's no air there. You need air in a pot. And I'm going to show you a very strong telltale sign. You won't believe this pot is actually growing in front of my back door of my own house, and I myself haven't applied. What you will see will make it a much better situation for this pot to be growing much happier, and will be filled with a lot more air, because remember, roots, especially fine hair roots, love air, water and soil. The first telltale sign that shows that this pot is not getting enough air is this algae here. It's a clay pot, so it absorbs a bit of water, but you can clearly see the water over here is blocking the air from going in and out, and that's very important for a pot. The hair roots love air, so this is not happening here, and we're going to fix it. So roses on pots are mainly watered with a hose pipe, and what happens is that water just every time forces the air out and compacts the soil. So the best thing to do every year or every second year, if you can't do it every year, is to actually, after pruning, these roses were pruned about 3 days ago, remove them from the pot, and don't be too scared about hurting the roots. You can see how compacted the soil is. I mean, it's difficult to get out even. So we're going to remove them completely and then put fresh soil in. Yeah, so after wrestling these roots, I finally got them loose, and you can see there are quite a few hair roots, a nice root system, but I'm going to remove all the soil. So you can see you don't need to be too gentle at all. Okay, so now I've emptied the plot completely of all the soil, and I'm going to not put the soil back in the pot. I'm going to use it in a bed in the garden elsewhere. I'm going to put fresh soil into the pot. So it's a beautiful, very large pot, and for three roses, absolutely ideal. But as you can see here, there's only one hole, and if you can look properly, it was actually plugged. The water did drain, but not very well. Okay, so one of the big tricks is to put a pot stand under the pot so that it is lifted off the ground. Then the soil can start breathing, and you start getting a much better sort of biome in the pot. You can use a pot stand which are for sale, or otherwise just put it on bricks. And very important, if you have a saucer on your stoop or whatever, you need to especially have it higher than the rim of the saucer, because water lying in the saucer and the pot standing in it suffocates the pot. Then the plant will not grow at all. Just putting the pot on top of the pot stand. Just going to rebalance it a bit. Pull it back. There we go. So another trick is to put these stones at the bottom. These are the best stones. These are concrete 19mm stones. You get them at any hardware, but it can be anything really. But putting a layer of these at the bottom also ensures very good drainage. So here's another trick. I've put down the stones now, quite a big level of stone, but now I'm going to put over the stones these Woolies bags that let water through, and the reason is it'll keep the very fine soil from going right down and actually blocking the hole, and just keep the fines far higher up in the pot so that we can get more air into the pot. So these Woolies bags let water through very easily and work great. But if you want to use something like Weed Guard or Weed Mat, that also works just as well. So now you can see the stones are covered. The soil won't seep into the stones and take away air space, and now we can put the fresh soil on top. So now we're going to fill the pot with the medium that we want the roses to grow in, and this is an amazing amendment that you can use. It's called coco peat or coir. It's actually the husk of coconuts. You can buy them in compressed blocks. You then need to put them in a thing like this and add water, and then they actually swell up, but it holds water. Look at that. And what you want in a pot is something that doesn't just drain through that holds the water a little bit so that the hair roots can actually have time to drink. You know, those little hair roots are like little tongues, and if the water lies there, they can easily take it up. So we're going to use a part of this, and then this is our potting soil, which has a controlled release fertilizer in, which is great for the roses. Over 8 months it releases nutrients. And then I'm also going to, for aeration, mix in peanut shells, which we usually use for mulch, but in a pot they work just as well. They add so much air, and you'll see once we plant them back, it's just going to be a very sort of very soft mixture that's got a lot of air in and holds water, and that's your ideal sort of growing medium where the pot can then flourish and do very well. Okay, so now I haven't completely filled the pot, but I'm going to place the roses back into it. I'm just going to separate them quickly. You know, roses got a bud union, and we like the bud union to be about 2 fingers under the soil. So it mustn't be too high. It must be placed correctly, the level. And remember, the soil will also still sink a bit, so you need to take that into consideration. So now I've placed all 3 roses back into the pot, not completely filled it. I'm just going to fill it up to the right level. Remember, I said the bud union needs to be 2 fingers under the soil. And once we've done, we're just going to water, and Bob's your uncle. The roses will flourish, I can guarantee you that. We're just mixing it up nicely. It's a third peanuts, a third potting soil, and a third coir or coco peat. So now I've filled the pot up. I'm just going to level the soil a bit. Not going to compact it too much. Remember, when you irrigate, the compaction happens by itself. Just going to level it out nicely. Like I said, this is a nice mix. A third coco peat, a third peanut shells, and a third potting soil. Yeah, now all we need to do is water. You can see the pot is higher than what it was. It's getting air, and these roses are going to flourish even more. So now the final step, of course, is to add water.